This web demo is going to be about 30 minutes long, and we'll show you the features that are used most often in Map Business Online. The first thing about Map Business Online that you should know is that it's a cloud-based solution, meaning that it requires internet for use. The great thing about that is you can open your maps from anywhere. You could open it up at home, create your maps, save them, go into the office, pull up your favorite browser, log into Map Business Online, and your information is waiting for you. The first thing I want to show you is this map and data box. It kind of hangs out on the left hand side here, and it's pretty simple box. Looks like it doesn't contain much, but it is very important to the use of Map Business Online. The first thing I want to show you is if the map and data box disappears. Just look to the left hand side and you'll see a single blue arrow pointing to the right, and if you click on it, it'll pull it back out. From this box you can toggle on and off different types of data, whether it's states, counties, or zip codes. Also, if you've imported a point layer or have created any territories, those will appear in the map and data box as well. Another important feature of this box is when you highlight a layer, there's a little settings gear that pops up. When you click on it, it pulls up a larger box called Manage Map and Data, and you'll find that you're kind of bouncing in and out of this box as well. From here, you can change the look and feel of the map. You can change the borders for states, for example. You can use our transparency bar to see through them if you need to see the streets. And also, we have our Labels tab on the right. When you click on that, you can click Format Labels, and you can make information appear from either your imported point sheet. If you have an accumulation of customer count or sales information, you can make that appear on your label. You can also show demographic data that's embedded in the program itself. So if you wanted to know a population for a state or county or zip or territory, this is where you'd go. So we'll close out of Manage Map and Data, and next we have a series of buttons across the top. Some of these are pretty self-explanatory and some go into more detail. The first one is to create a new map. The second one is to open any previously saved map. And the third one is to save a map. With a 12-month subscription, you can save up to 200 maps, and at any point you can go back and edit old maps. You can continuously edit the same map over and over. You can also go back and delete old maps to free up space as well. I'm going to skip over this button for now, but it's a feature called Map Share. What this does is it allows you to share an interactive map through a browser. You can share that map with a non-subscriber, so somebody who doesn't have a paid subscription. What that button will do is it creates a link that you can email to someone else. They click on it, it pulls up in their browser, and they can see the information that you've created. They can click on points, they can see your territories, they can even query information or create a road route. The next button is Plot Data on Map. This is a button that's used probably most often in the program. When we click on it, we just browse through a spreadsheet that has our customer information. We'll go ahead and click Browse, and we choose our customer list and click Open. You'll notice in the lower half that I have all the information for my spreadsheet. I can have names, account owners, phones, emails. I can have sales information. I could have a classification for what type of customer I have. You can have as many columns as you like. The important thing is that we have proper headers on our spreadsheet. So in this one, I have a header of address, and that's my street address column. I have zip, city, state, and so on. The program is smart enough, if you have the correct headers, to identify which columns of your spreadsheet pertain to the street address, and so on. We do have the ability to plot by latitude and longitude if you have that information. If you don't, then don't worry about it. Go ahead and click Next and plot the information on the map. One thing I want to show you before I plot is this lower section is information for what we call a callout. A callout is when you click on a point, a little text bubble pops up and it shows information. You can assign which fields you'd like initially, and you can always change that at a later time. So we'll go ahead and click Plot. And with a 12-month subscription, you can plot up to 100,000 points per map. It asks you if you want to color code your data on the map, and you can just say no for now, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So the first thing you'll see is this data window that pops up, and this is once again all the information from my spreadsheet. If I want to change the information all at once, I can click to change the size here. I can change the color, and I can change the symbols. We have a pretty extensive symbol set, but if you don't like the ones that we have to offer, then you can always bring in your own symbol or icon through this Manage Custom Symbols. If you close out of your data window and never want to get back to it, just look at the top and you'll see a thing that looks like a calendar right next to the car, and that pulls up your data window. From here you can toggle in between different types of data. You can look at states, counties, zips. Also, if you've imported point layers or if you've created territories, that information will be here as well. One important feature in this data window is this export dataset button on the right. This is handy if you filter down your information and want to just export a smaller list of what you have. So now that we have our points on the map, you might possibly want to differentiate those by the information in your spreadsheet. So if you want to do that, we click on this tool here called Color Code with Symbols. When I click on it, it'll choose a column of the spreadsheet for me. In this case, it chose my sales column. If I wanted to leave it here, I could. I could also change the number of ranges that I have. I could change what the values are for each range. I could change the symbol for each range, and I could change the color and size. In this case, I'm going to use my classification column, so what type of customers I have. I could change the information here if I don't like the way that it's listed, and I'll go ahead and change the size and make them all the same size. Once I click done, now the points are differentiated on the map. I can click on an individual point and I can see information about that and that call out. These fields down below are what we assigned initially when we plotted the points. If we want to change the information that's listed down below, we would go into the Manage Map and Data, click on the settings gear for that point layer, and then I can choose to change my callouts. I could have up to 5 fields and I can swap them out. I don't have to have any show if I don't want. The next powerful tool in Map Business Online is for creating territories. If I want to bring in a spreadsheet that I have predefined territories, I would click on this red puzzle piece with a green plus sign. The example that I'm going to show you is a zip code level. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my zip codes down on my map and data box. You'll see that everything is green, and that's just the fill. And I can make that transparent if I'd like. If I want to make it transparent, I can go ahead and click on that settings gear, open up Manage Map and Data again, click on my General tab, use my slide bar so I can see some of the underlying data. That's handy if you want to kind of manipulate your information after you've already brought it in. So I will go ahead and proceed with importing my territory list. This screen shows you an example of what that spreadsheet should look like. You could use zip codes, or you could use counties or states, or if you have a 12-month subscription, you could do something like a census tract or zip3. The important information once again, is the header. And so you just have all the zip codes that you have in your spreadsheet and then have a territory name column. You could do territory ABC 1, 2, 3, or you could have rep names assigned to each zip code that they cover. It's going to be the same idea. I'm going to browse to a spreadsheet that I have and click Next. The important information is my location information, which is my zip5 codes, and the program is able to tell that that is the correct column. I have my territory name column here, and I have rep 1, 2, and 3 assigned. Next, I just want to double check and make sure that my territory name column matches up with my spreadsheet and that I'm creating territories by zip code. Now it'll automatically fill in that information on my map, and it gives me my data window. It automatically assigned colors along with the rep 1, 2, and 3 name. In my data window that popped up, I have the ability to click on a color, and I can change that to any color that I like. I can also make this information transparent. If I go into my new territories layer, click on the settings gear, and play around with transparency. I do have the ability now, if I wanted to clean up my view by unchecking territories if I needed to. With Map Business Online, it's very easy to manipulate your territory. And so a lot of times people are given the task of updating an old territory file or splitting territories. And so I just want to show you how easy that is to manipulate. So if we look over to the right hand side, we see a zip code of 23161, and it kind of looks like it's out of place. It's assigned to rep 2, but it's on the other side of rep 3. So if I see that this is an error, I can just go ahead and click on the zip code, click on the zip code number, and click close. You'll see now that I have a blue puzzle piece that's available. This blue puzzle piece is very important for manipulating your territory. Once I click on it, I have different options. I could create new for new territory. I could add it to an existing one, or in this case, I'm going to remove it from Rep 2. My data window pops up, and if I'd like to, I can update, I can export this new territory. It's also very easy to add to an existing territory. If I wanted to, I can click on a zip code, hold down the shift button on my keyboard, and then just start clicking away. Once I have the areas that I want, I click on my blue puzzle piece again, and this time I can add it to Rep 2. There is an even faster way to query these zip codes for a territory, and that's with these tools at the top here. You notice that they have shapes with little binoculars. You could search by a radius, you could draw a polygon, you could do a freeform area, which is a nice quick way to grab areas, and you could also do a drive time polygon. So if you enter in a central point and you want to grab all the zip codes that are within 25-minute drive time, you can use that tool. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to zoom out my map, and so I can hover in over Massachusetts just because I have a lot of point data there that I can use. To zoom out, I have my tool in the top right hand corner here. If I want to incrementally zoom in, I can click the plus sign. If I want to incrementally zoom out, I can click on my minus sign. I could grab this toolbar here and just zoom out to a multi-state or nationwide level. I could click on this blue left arrow to give me my previous map view. It's kind of like an undo for your zoom. And then at the bottom we have some of the buttons that I use most often, and that's zoom out to a USA level, which I'll do right now. And then next we have our magnifying glass at the bottom. This magnifying glass, once it's enabled, will have a red X. I can then draw a little box around the area that I want to zoom into, and it will bring it in zoomer closer for me. I can keep doing it, and then once I have the zoom level that I like, I can go back, click on that magnifying glass again, and click the red X. Now I'm going to take advantage of those search tools that I explained earlier, and in this case I'll first choose a polygon. You can let these tools do a lot of the heavy lifting for you when you're creating a new territory, and with this polygon tool you can just quickly click, and every time you click you're able to change directions. Once I come back to this initial point, it'll ask me what data I'm looking to search by. I'm going to be choosing the zip code list to create my territory, but I just want to let you know that you can also query your point layer. So if I just wanted to see which push pins I had within that area, I could choose a customer list, and it'll create what we call a marketing list, which is essentially a subset of my overall point layer. I'll go ahead and click zip codes and click next, and it'll ask me to give a name. I'll just call it Massachusetts North. It automatically chooses a color for me, and I can change it if I'd like to in the data window. I'll go ahead and click on the red X to get rid of my polygon, and then I'll go up and choose a different tool, and this time I'll do the freeform area. This is pretty nice because you can just kind of drag it as you go. You don't have to be perfect. And once again, you can use these search tools to do a lot of the heavy lifting, to do a lot of the zip codes, and then if you want to fine tune it, that's where you can zoom in and then just start clicking on them one at a time. Once again, I'm looking for zip 5 layers because that's how I'm creating my territory, and I'll click next. Give it a name of Massachusetts South. The next thing I want to show you is the importance of labeling. You'll see that I have my Massachusetts North and Massachusetts South labels, and I want to let you know that you can tie information to these labels. So if I wanted to take information from my point layers, so if I click on a point, I'll see that I have sales information attached. And if I use my labels correctly, I can use them to show an accumulation of that sales information or the number of customers throughout those individual territories. So to do that, I'm going to use my map and data box, highlight my territories layer, click on the settings gear, pull up that manage map and data box, and this time click on labels. First thing I'll do is I'm going to change the blue box to a white to make it pop a little bit more. And then I'll click on Format Labels. I could choose up to 5 fields, and so in this case I'm using information from my customer list. And so I'll just type in a prefix. I'll choose a second field if I want to show an accumulation of sales data. Once again, this is all for my spreadsheet. You'll find that one of the most important pieces of organizing your data is kind of organizing exactly what you want and what you want it to look like. We also do have demographic data that's available as well. And so if I just wanted to see something like population, or I could see age ranges or ethnicities or households or median household incomes, I have all that as well. I also do have consumer expenditures if you ever need that. In this case, I'll just keep it simple and just choose population so I can see the population in my territory. Once I click change the labels, I have this new information. So I can see that Massachusetts North has 22 customers, Massachusetts South has 32, and I can see the sales figures assigned to it. This can really help you to balance out your information. So then when I zoom in, I can see if I wanted to give Massachusetts North some more funds, then I can do that with my tools here. I can go ahead and I can click on an individual zip code, click on the zip code number, my blue puzzle piece appears, and I can choose to remove it from Massachusetts South. And then I can choose to click it again and add it to Massachusetts North. Now you'll see that my number of customers has changed, my sales values, and my population totals have changed as well. I can at any point then update and export my data. You can also show information at the zip code level. So the little black numbers on the map for 02493, that's what we call an auto label. I can make this information appear at that level as well. To do that, because it's a zip code layer, I will go to my zip code in the map and data box, click on the settings gear. When I click on that, I can go to labels and format labels. This is called an auto label, so I'm going to check this box. Just to let you know, a custom label is when I hover my mouse on the map, that little bubble that pops up. So in this case, I will do demographic data, do population. I'll also choose information for my point list, and I'll choose my sales. And so now I can see what each individual zip code can bring to the table. That would help me to balance out my territories. A lot of people use that information to just show the demographic data if you wanted to see different income levels for different zip codes. I'm going to go ahead and just turn off my auto labels for now. The next thing I want to show you is how you can get the information out of the map. I've shown you a couple times how to export your point list or your zip code list. Next is if you want to just save an image. If you want to save your image as a JPEG or a PNG file, you would click on this globe with a little floppy disk. If you want to print or save to a PDF, you can just click on the printer, and you do have the ability to save a PDF up to a 5 by 5 foot image if you wanted to. If you wanted to bring it to a Photoshop and print off a large map, you can do that. Finally is this feature called Map Share that I kind of skipped over at the beginning. And when we click on that, we're prompted to save our map. And then it creates a link for us. We could password protect it if we wanted to. And we'll go ahead and click Share Map and click Copy. I can then open it up in my favorite browser, and I'm going to see the same information that I saw on the original map. You'll see that I have about 7 tools for use, and this is the information that you send to a non-subscriber. So it is a pretty powerful tool. They will get all the information that you had in your data window. You will have the ability to route. You will have the ability to query the information as well, and you can just click on individual points and see information about it. There is a limit to the number of times that a map share click can be used. In a 12-month subscription, you can hand out 1,200 clicks over the course of the year. When I click on that URL to pull it up, that uses 1 click. If I click on my red X, click on that link again, that would be a second use of map share, and that's the accumulation of clicks per the accounts, not per map. The last thing I want to show you is a feature that kind of gets overlooked, and that is this feature at the top left, and that's our address bar. You can use that to type in a street, city, state, or you can do a street, zip code. In this case, I'll just type in an example here. I can click either enter on my keyboard, or I can click on the binoculars. That drops a little push pin on my map for me, and then you'll see that I have tools down below as well. I can click to create a radius, I could click to create a drive time polygon, or I could save this as a new point in my database. I'll go ahead and click on my drive time polygon, and from here I could do time or distance. In this case, I'll just do 15 minutes and click add to map. Now I have a drive time polygon showing me where I can get to in 15 minutes. From here, I can choose to search for information. So if I wanted to look for the customers within that area, I can create a marketing list. Now I have an updated list. I have 9 out of 542 that are within that drive time polygon, and I can export that if needed. I can also use this drive time polygon to summarize demographic information. So I can click on this little Sigma tool and click on any of the fields that I like, and just click the arrow to bring it over. I could bring over multiple fields and then click next, and now I have this information that I can export to file if I need. If you have any questions, please give us a call or drop us an email. We do have a free 30-day trial available at mapbusinessonline.com. And if you have any questions, just please let us know. Thanks and have a great day.